We're back. Let's go. I'm back. Finally, I've been running around constantly, but I am back. I didn't get to watch the Grand Prix again, unfortunately, but I have caught up with everything. From what I was reading in the chat from you two, it was crazy. From what I've seen, it was crazy. Yeah. The craziness is still going on because here I thought we were going to be talking about George Russell with a drive of the century, only for shock news. And we're now celebrating, well, Ben's now celebrating Hamilton's 105th victory. So
yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable, really. And it's really weird because I said so many times now already since, race finished maybe like 5-6 hours ago. And I said that I'm so glad that Lewis won Silverstone, because if we'd waited 3 years for him to win a race and it had been like this, it would have been so anticlimactic. So I'm so glad that that's already the case, that he got 104, now he's got 105. I do want to talk though about George Russell because I do feel really bad for him. I'm not going to lie to you. When he crossed that line, of course, I would have been like, I thought Lewis was going to get him. Like, how's he managed to hold him off? But that was a champion's drive. That was one of the best individual drives I've seen in such a long time. And that was for me, that put Russell on the map properly.
Do you remember the commentary they'd done when Lewis won his 7th about he's found his voice on and off the track? He went against the team in the strategy. Yeah, it was very and we said how good that was to be a world champion, is to make the call yourself from the car. Very reminiscent of that. It's very the same, to have that sort of knowledge and experience already at such a young age.
That's the thing, man.
You know what? I can do this myself. That's very impressive.
That's the thing. We've spoken many a times this season about different teams and sort of how they operate within their cohort. And obviously look at McLaren, they sort of been struggling a bit, sort of getting used to being back at the top again. But George Russell, he had an instinct. He went with it. The team backed him. And technically it worked. But obviously in the end, and we should be precise on the matter, I will read the FIA report. But Ollie, if you also, whilst I find that, if you want to say how you found the weekend.
Ben just turned his head to get a shot off his skin fade, by the way. I just want to point that out. The only reason why he looked to his right.
I mean, due to some rather unfortunate events for myself, Exhibit
Olly's
A.
Crippled.
I'm crippled for the time being after some incidents playing football, but it does mean there is a bit of a shining light in the fact that I can now have my weekends back and watch Formula One. So I was able to watch every single session this weekend, uninterrupted, and it was brilliant. And I mean, what a race to be treated back with. It was, from start to finish, it kind of, you didn't know who was going to win. And it was just a brilliant race. I mean, every single session provided some sort of entertainment. Obviously, we know what Spa's like with the weather. It was chaotic. Well, I mean, Friday and Saturday, it was absolutely horrendous.
It down again, as always.
And then Sunday, race day, heavens are open and the sky's blue.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely lovely. I mean, I did think towards the end when they're going around the final few corners, going into Sector 3, it did seem to be clouding over a bit. And I was like, oh, here we go. Crofty's going to bring out his trademark. Oh, it's going to rain in 10 minutes again. It's like, oh, give it a rest.
No, Ollie, there's one of those earlier where I think it's Leclerc coming out of the pits and he's being like, and it's going to be really tight. Perez is closing in. Leclerc had already left the pit exit before Perez has even got to turn 1.
On the highlights,
what are you doing?
Happy. I'm so happy it's Alex Jakes on the highlights. I'm so happy because it's just if it was this, I just wouldn't be able to deal with it. I don't know how you deal with it.
I found it though. I found the reason for why George Russell, for those who don't know, got disqualified. And I'm going to make it clear, it's not his fault. It is the team's, and the team have taken responsibility.
Yeah, the team already posted that they hold their hands up for it as well.
Yeah. They have. Right. The stewards heard from the team representative of Car 63, George Russell, that the FIA technical delegate, the FIA single-seater director, and the FIA single-seater technical director. Car 63 was weighed on the FIA inside and outside scales, with both scales showing the same result of 796.5 kg. The collaboration of both scales was confirmed and witnessed by the competitor. During the hearing, the team representative confirmed that the measurement is correct and that all required procedures were performed correctly. The team also acknowledged that there were no mitigating circumstances and that it was a genuine error by the team. The stewards determined that Article 4.1 of the FIA Formula One technical regulations has been breached, and therefore the standard penalty for such an infringement needs to be applied. Competitors are reminded that they have the right to appeal certain decisions of the stewards in accordance with Article 15 of the FIA International Sporting Code and Chapter 4 of the FIA Judicial and Disciplinary Rules within the applicable time limits. Decisions of the stewards are taken independently of the FIA and are based solely on the relevant regulations, guidelines and evidence presented. So he was 1.5 kg below the minimum weight. The minimum weight for that is 798 kilograms, and he was 796.5. So 1.5 kg. Now, I want to dive into this. Get your click mark ready, Olly King.
Hand. That weight is Ollie's car.
The weight of this card.
Right, I've got things. I want to talk to you about here.
Lewis Hamilton's Barnet. That's how. That's the weight that is. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. But if Lewis was, disqualified in Brazil 2021 for like 0.2, 0.3 like millimeters on the rear wing, then 1.5 kg of fuel was always going to be a no-no. I want to talk to you. So, first and foremost, there's two sort of sides I want to look at this, and I want to get your opinions on both, and let me know what you think. I don't necessarily think I'm actually giving my thoughts, but it's just ideas I've had in my head, so I don't really know if I truly believe in them, but I just want to get your take on them. So the first one is
a diabolical would you rather.
No.
Right, listen. To be a diabolical if or that.
Well, listen, so lap 42 of 44 was the last real attempt Lewis had, because 43 he locked up and 44, obviously, I think he locked up again, or he was just too far behind, right? So 42 was the last opportunity he had. Now, I did find it very bizarre that he couldn't get past Russell there on that lap. Now, naturally, if you look at it now, it's because George Russell had a lighter car, right? Whether or not he'd saved up maybe X amount of battery and Lewis didn't have the amount of battery, like, we won't know that, but we can easily just look at it and go, Russell had a lighter car, therefore that's why he was able to stay ahead with 38 lap old tyres. But my second thing as to why maybe George Russell was under the limit is because he either was not lifting and coasting enough in that race, which was, if that was the case, that's driver error, because he will know that the car would have been underfueled and he would have known what he would have had to have done throughout the race. But I don't necessarily believe in that one, because he was, you're so unaware of that, and after the race it's not your responsibility to know how much fuel you got in your car, right? So I kind of diminish that one, but it's a thought. The main one is there's no in-lap in Spa. Normally drivers use go off the racing line on there to pick up marble and to almost pick up, the tyres will get a little bit heavier picking up all the marbles off the track. 1.5 kg, a bit of marble on your tyre, that will be enough on 4 of your tyres. So maybe if he'd had an in-lap, would that have pushed the weight of the car up a little bit more by 1.5 kg? But I don't know if it comes down to fuel sample or weight of the car.
It wasn't.
I don't know, because I think you have to have a certain amount of fuel sample, but I think they passed that. I think it was that they were just underweight.
What it was, Ben, was they drained the car of fuel and then weighed it, and it was underweight. It didn't have fuel in it. That's what the issue was. That's the reason why they.
Well, it would have had some fuel in it, but just not enough of the measurement.
But yeah, it had the required amount of fuel, but it was still underweight. So it had the normal amount of fuel that a car would have at the end of the race, but it was still underweight.
Yeah, there you go then.
Yeah,
there you go then. So actually, that's my point then. My point is that because there was no in-lap, he didn't have. Yeah. And of course, you have to still look at that and go, well, the other 19 drivers passed, so why is his different? Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. But I almost just don't want to take away the achievement of what he did today. He took hard tyres, 34 laps. He did a one stop. the data, the analysis, all the amazing technology that these Formula One teams had, nobody saw that working this weekend.
I love,
and not only did he pull it off, he won the race.
Yeah, that's what makes. I just feel like that's what makes moments like this feel more like human and wholesome, because you've got all these strategists, all this data collection, all this like AI analysis, all the simulations, and yet someone turns around and goes, "Actually, I'm doing it my own way."
We thought about the one stop. Yeah, I agree, Will.
It makes it feel more human.
Absolutely, it's very easy for us to throw names around. Yeah, it's very easy for us to like throw names around and be like, "Oh, one person does one good thing one time," and it's like, "Oh, that reminded me." But genuinely, that felt like a Senna or Prost moment of like, back in those days when it wouldn't have been. Obviously, the technology is nowhere near what it's like now, and it's based on just like driver decision. Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
he's just sat in his car, totally gone against all odds, and gone, "Well, we thought about this one stop," and then done it. And then held off his teammate, who, by the way, is Sir Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion. And he's done that with Lewis on like 14 lap old tyres, and he's on 34 lap old tyres. Unbelievable. And so I really did want to come on here today and give him his flowers and be like, "George, mate, that's a champion's drive. That was unbelievable." But he didn't. And it just goes to show how much like I thought he did amazing, because it's Lewis Hamilton that's won the race, and I'm happy for Lewis, because don't get me wrong, out of every single driver that did a 2-stop today, he was on the money, and he was the quickest driver on the 2-stop. It was just that George magically managed to make a 1-stop work.
I was literally going to say that.
For me, the thing was...
Go on, Ollie.
I think the thing for me that was so good about George, I'm going to say it's George's win, because I mean, realistically, it is 1.5 kgs, nothing.
Well,
I know it's going to go down as a win.
Hamilton gets 2007 back. If you know 2007, when he actually beat Kimi in Spa, but he got a 25-second penalty after the race, and that demoted him. So technically, he has got his 2007 race win back today, all these years later.
But no, I think the one thing that was so incredible about his decision making, and the fact that he went on just doing the 1-stop, is when his team radio came over, when his team came over the radio and went, "Right, are we going 1-stop?" He literally, before they even finished the sentence, he was like, "Yeah." He wasn't like, "I don't know, maybe we'll see, give it a few laps." He was literally like, "You know what? I'm going. You don't even need to give me an option. This is what we are doing. This is what I want to do. This is my choice. We are taking this all the way." And I think it showed a bit of maturity from George today.
Yeah,
like, he's still quite a young driver, but it really showed that kind of like, no, we are sticking to this, and I believe this is going to work. Like, he wasn't like, "Okay, I'm going to stick to this, but just because I feel like I need to stay in the lead."
And if I was Toto Wolff, I'd be really impressed by that, because it would be like, in losing a key figure like Lewis next year, it's good to know that you can effectively have a number one driver again. I mean, I think most people will say that George is maybe getting priorities this year more than Lewis is, but the reality is Lewis is still the number one driver in the eyes of everyone, whether or not it's, whether it's Kimi Antonelli that comes in or someone more experienced like Sainz, whatever, George will be number one no matter what, and he's proven that he can sort of do that. Obviously, when Lewis was gunning down for him towards the end, I was thinking that we're going to have another George mistake here, because he always seems to make mistakes whenever Lewis is like chasing him, and he didn't, and he did. Yeah, he did unbelievable, and like I was so happy for him. And the thing is like, me and Ollie, we were watching actual Sky News, Craig Slater waiting for it, because they do the entire hour and a half post-race debrief after, where they talk to all the drivers and everything. And then Natalie Pinkham, she goes to sign off. It's now time for the summer break. We will see you in 4 weeks' time when we're back for Zandvoort. Oh, but I've just heard in my ear that George Russell is under investigation for the stewards. Bye-bye now. And I'm like, sorry, what? And thankfully Ted's notebook's on, so I'm thinking, right, we'll find out in Ted's note. And half an hour goes by, and Ted's like, "You're going to have to go to watch Sky News, I'm afraid, because we're going off air here." And I'm like, And then even Sky News, it broke during an ad break. But thankfully I was going through Twitter, so I saw it there and then. But yeah, honestly, I think for me, one thing
personally, just to speak on the George on his tyres and how well he managed that situation, is the fact of, I think if you look up and down the grid, there's a lot of drivers that are very indecisive when it comes to their tyres. They're not very certain, and there have been so many instances. I mean, you look back. I mean, even I think the most notable example is you look back a couple of years ago at Lando Norris in Sochi. His team were telling him, "Look, you need to come in. You need to, you need to come in. You need to change." Yeah, you need to come in. You need to change your tires. And he was like, "No, I'm staying out. I'm in the lead. I'm going to try and win this." And then obviously he falls short because he made the wrong decision. George, I don't think George was probably looking at the data. I think he was just going on, you know what, this feels fast. I feel like my legs are good.
This is what Lewis said after the race. Good. Exactly that, Ollie. That's what Lewis said after. He said, I felt as though... Because Lewis was really angry after the race. You could see how annoyed he was that he didn't win that race. And I think that he genuinely felt as though he should have won it. I believe, that he should have won it in terms of the way that the race should have played out. No one saw a one-stop coming. Therefore, out of the 2 stops, he was the best driver. And obviously, it being a teammate will hurt just a little bit more. But you're right, Ollie. Absolutely right, 100%. And I just think that in the end, the outcome is a weird one because the right driver has actually won the race in the end, but I just feel so bad for George.
Yeah, the right driver has won the race. It's just in a sour circumstance because
it's like Le Mans, how you've got your different series in one race.
Yeah, roughly. Something like it's just like it must be a bit frustrating for Mercedes. Like, we've still got a driver on top, but we've just lost around what is it?
I know.
38 points for the team, something like that, or is it? No, it's 43.
So the 25. So they would have had 25 and 18.
So it's 43 for
43 points.
Yeah,
but obviously then you take. Hang on a minute. If Lewis
just lost 18 points,
just lost 18 points. Yeah, sorry, I was confusing myself. No, I was confusing myself. You're right, it's 18 points, but I was confusing myself by trying to...
Who got driver of the day?
Lewis.
Yes! Come on!
You'll be happy. Will, you'll be happy to know Lando didn't even get in top 3.
Get in! Yeah.
But
when it came
through... Yeah. When it came through at the end of the race that Lewis has got driver of the day, and this is coming from me, I sat there and went, nah, George deserved that. And
then again,
actually, in the end, no, he didn't.
Some opening few laps from Lewis, to be
fair. Yeah, from Lewis.
Yeah. Also, Charles Leclerc,
for me,
after Monaco, has Charles Leclerc been replaced with a doppelganger or something? Because what's he doing?
We definitely will. Yeah, I know. We definitely will talk through the team. But whilst we are still talking about Mercedes, because they have won 3 of the last 4 races. Sorry,
we're so bad.
Lewis Hamilton had to go, 945 days for a win. He's now got 2 in the last 3 races, like London buses.
Hamilton title charge.
I mean,
Gunther Steiner asked him after the race, and I think he was referring to the Constructors' Championship. Can you win this? And Lewis just went, no, we can't. We're not gonna win.
I'm gonna look at the gap real quick. I want to see the gap. Go on, keep talking, Ollie.
I think obviously the main talking point from today is going to be the whole Lewis and George fiasco. Them having not technically, but on track they're having a 1-2.
Yeah.
Technically, obviously Lewis winning, but I think today the biggest point for me to take away from this Mercedes performance is that George has now proven that he's the driver to take Mercedes into the future. I think today it kind of showed that he's kind of learned many skills from Lewis over the past 3 years. Even if it's not been Lewis directly going to George, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this to improve. It might just be George watching what Lewis does or listening to what Lewis does, picking up on that and thinking, okay, that's how he is the best. That's what I need to do.
That's a fantastic take.
I agree.
Point.
142 points, by the way, Will, between first and fourth.
I thought it was. Wait, are you on constructors or drivers?
Yeah, I'm talking about constructors.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I meant gap as in drivers. Hamilton's 127 behind.
What, Verstappen?
Doable. Yeah,
Oh wow.
doable.
I didn't.
Doable.
Well, I was talking about constructors.
How many rounds left? 10.
10.
Oh, we're so on. It's so on. It's so on.
I think someone said. I think I saw this on Twitter. I think someone said if Lewis wins 7 races,
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
and Max finishes outside the top, or if Lewis wins 7 races and Max finishes off the podium in every single race, then on every single race, then Lewis will win the championship.
Can I just say something actually? So obviously I like my stats. I'll bring stats in throughout the pod, but here is one for you. So in all 7 of Lewis's championship winning years, he never went more than 3 races in a row without winning. So in all his championship years, so he, that doesn't necessarily mean that he was on or off the podium. Like he would never go. 3 was the most that he ever went without winning a race in a year where he's won the championship. Max has now gone 4 races in a row without winning.
Crazy.
And he's 78 points clear of Lando Norris in the championship.
Which I saw he's 4 races without winning. That's the first time since 2020, isn't it? That's what they were saying on the broadcast.
This is the thing.
Which,
Max Verstappen Red Bull dominance is over.
Yeah, facts.
I feel like Cristiano Ronaldo dropping to my knees after the Euro final. That's how I'm feeling right now. And Lewis Hamilton now joins Max Verstappen as being the only driver this year with multiple race wins.
Yeah, we would not have said that at the start of the year.
Oh, I would. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
right, I wouldn't.
I definitely didn't.
I wouldn't. No,
yeah,
right,
Olly. Oh my God, Olly. Oh yeah. Lewis Hamilton again.
Will never win a Formula 1 race ever again, and he's now won 2 in the same year that you've said that.
Listen, I'm still standing on business with Lando Norris. I'm still standing on that business with
Especially
Lando Norris.
After that stat of never leading from pole on lap 1. That's unbelievable.
I'm sorry, right? Can we so what? Can we move on to McLaren now? Then obviously,
well,
I think
we can,
we've spoken.
but we will. Actually, we will. But I do just finally on Mercedes, just because I only don't want to move off of it that quickly, simply because I need people to understand that Mercedes have won 3 of the last 4 Grand Prix. It's just they won.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah,
I know. This is the thing, and every race win they've had. So Austria, as we've said, that's not pure pace. That is because George was just in the right place at the right time. But yet again, you still have to be in the right place at the right time. And at the start of the year, they never would have been there, right? I can still remember Lewis going out in Q1 in China, right? Unbelievable. Silverstone, we then spoke about how, no, he deserved that. He did deserve that. But then really, McLaren should have probably won on the day at Silverstone. I'm not taking anything away from Lewis because he drove an unbelievable race and he was there to take it. But Piastri or not, could have. This one, if Lewis had won it as in on the track with his overtakes and his start, that would have genuinely been just race pace galore. Technically, it was Russell won on strategy, but Lewis has now won it, and it feels as though it was won through overtaking cars on the track, got past Perez, got past Leclerc, and then just pushed off into the lead, up front. And it really does feel like, well, the world's their oyster now. They could come back. Zandvoort, Max is super dominant. Ever since it's come back on the calendar, just wins it ridiculously easily.
Could be a big upset.
Imagine if Max doesn't even win his home Grand Prix. I feel bad for the person that might win it. I know. I already feel bad for the person that might win it because the boos will be ridiculously loud, wouldn't they?
Crazy.
Unless it's Lando. I think the Dutchies like Lando, but.
Talking of Lando, should we move on to McLaren?
Yeah, we should.
Piastri, another podium, and
10 consecutive podiums for McLaren now.
When are we going to start discussing the conversation that Piastri's actually quicker than Norris? When are we going to start? Dropping this?
I'm sorry. In my opinion, that Piastri, for me, I think Piastri is a better driver than Lando. There's a reason that he won the Formula 3. There's a reason that he won the Formula 4, the Formula 3, the Formula 2 championships consecutively. Yes, he didn't get an F1 seat the next year, but that's because Alpine just decided he wasn't good enough somehow. But for me, I think he's a lot better. There's a reason that he won those championships and Lando didn't. Lando didn't win Formula 2, he didn't win Formula 3.
Right, you know how like in any like sci-fi film you see where there's like an alternate timeline somewhere, especially Back to the Future. You ever watch Back to the Future 2?
Yeah,
there's a different
unbelievable series, Back to the Future.
Fact, one of the best trilogies.
Have you actually watched it on the West End? You watched it in London on the theatre?
No.
Oh, it's well good. It's like it's got CGI as well. Like the car is flying out to you.
Okay, yeah, we're so distracted here. You know how in that timeline, Back to the Future 2, they've got like the alternate reality. What would the reality be if he'd have gone to Alpine? Who'd have got that McLaren seat?
Well, because again,
Danny Rick will be there.
No,
yeah, well,
he
listen,
he would have been gone.
He wouldn't. No, but this is the thing, right? So Oscar Piastri has dodged a huge bullet there because obviously we can see the performance of the Alpine for our own eyes. But Esteban Ocon, jumping a bit, they start the weekend, signed for Haas. Bruno Famin, team principal, is departing the team. And Esteban Ocon has come out and said that the team don't listen. They didn't listen to me. They haven't listened to Pierre. They didn't listen to Fernando. They didn't listen to Daniel. So they definitely weren't going to listen to rookie Oscar Piastri. So he has absolutely had a blinder by putting out, I hereby, without my consent, that I have signed for Alpine team. This is not true.
Yeah.
I will be signing for McLaren Formula 1 team. And what a sign. Oscar Piastri has scored more points in Alpine since he's been in Formula 1.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure I saw. I'm now, or was it this? Was it like? Yeah, no, I saw it. I'm backing myself. Let me find it. I'm backing myself, and it would have been.
No, I think
that is a rivalry and a half. One for the one.
Here we go. Yes, points since the start of 2023. This was obviously before this weekend. Piastri 246, Alpine 129. Thank you. Don't doubt the stat man, Ben.
Oh my god, it's not even close.
Nah.
Jesus.
Oh my god, it's not even close either.
After this weekend, he's probably now more than half as well.
Wow.
He's like, honestly, I don't see why people can't see his talent. Like, I don't think people give him enough credit. Like, obviously people rate him highly, but I don't think they rate him highly enough.
No,
like, the way he drove today was phenomenal. His pace, genuinely, I thought this to myself and I said it to my girlfriend. I said, 2 more laps and Piastri would have won that race. He was absolutely flying in that McLaren.
I agree.
Where was Lando? Stuck behind Verstappen.
Well,
I saw a figure,
he's now 33 points behind Lando in the championship.
Damn. I saw a thing on TikTok earlier. It was the Lewis and Max fans teaming up to hate on Norris. I was like, yeah, facts. Absolutely. There's one common enemy, and it's the Norris fangirls. Just get in the bin.
The crazy thing about the season, and obviously we've said this now for so many episodes of, like, wow, you actually don't know who could win now, every weekend. But Max has got his 7 wins, which right now actually feels like too many for him. It doesn't feel like he should have that. It feels like he should have like 5. But obviously we just forget how dominant like Bahrain, Saudi Arabia at the start. It was just like so easy for him.
That feels like so long ago though.
It does, doesn't it? It really does.
What this season's been like, that feels like it's like last year.
Exactly. Right.
So weird.
If you then go through the Drivers' Championship, right? So if the way I'm looking at it this year, there's a top 8. And Perez is 8th in that order, right? But that is your top 8.
Not a chance.
Yeah. Right? That's your 8 that you look at. And obviously 7 of them have got a race win. But Max Verstappen leading the Drivers' Championship, 7 wins, right? But then Lando Norris is in 2nd, 1 win. Charles Leclerc is in 3rd, 1 win. Oscar Piastri is in 4th, 1 win. Carlos Sainz is in 5th, 1 win. Lewis Hamilton in 6th is on 2 wins. And it's like that. And if George Russell had kept his race win today, he would have been 7th, I believe. I believe he would have been 7th with 2 race wins.
That's crazy.
This season is unbelievable. I'm annoyed that technically Max is so far ahead because he still will win this championship. But
if he doesn't, it's the serious bottle.
yeah,
Seriously, if he doesn't win
but
this,
he won't know. Come on, we all know he will.
I'm going to ask you the question again, though, because now we can, and now it's even a bigger thing because it ain't just a one-off. The Ferrari move for Lewis.
I'm still not. No.
I don't know.
George Russell did come out and say if we were performing like we are now, he wouldn't have signed. George Russell said that. But for me, it's that idea of Lewis has always wanted to drive for Ferraris his whole life.
Yeah, but I feel like he
deal made sense at the time.
I feel like he done it because he was like, yeah, this is a sinking ship. This is a sinking ship. I'm on my way out.
But with all due respect, it still could be. It's still.
Yeah,
I know we've talked about three in the last four, but look how quickly they went from being the best team in basically Formula One's modern day history to then just dropping completely off. That can't happen. Look, Ferrari. Look how good Ferrari were doing towards the start of this year. Nowhere to be. In fact, I saw a thing earlier on. Right, top speed today, drivers. Right, I'm going to try and find this again. It was the drivers' top speed throughout Spa, and obviously fast circuit with especially the long straight after Eau Rouge, right? I'm going to try and find this for you here now because I could. Yeah, here we go. Someone said Charles was driving that car with hopes and dreams because Stroll had the top speed. I'm going to this will be kph. 356 kph was the max reached, right? And after that, the 1 second from last, who is Perez, was 340. So that's 16 kph off of Stroll, who reached fastest. Leclerc, 327. So he was basically, in the eyes of this graph, was driving a tractor.
Jeez,
obviously, 327 kph is not a tractor, but in that, so for him to go from pole to fourth, as that third in the end, is actually very, very good, and he deserves serious praise.
Something's happened to Leclerc after that Monaco win. Just that Monaco
win. The Monaco curse went fine. I'll let you win, but then you'll never win anything else ever again in life.
I'll let you win, but now you must suffer for eternity.
Ben, hold on. Is that a prediction? Are you saying Leclerc is never going to win again?
No, I'm not calling. I'm not doing what you two do. If you want something out of me, then I will tell you right now that Sergio Perez and Logan Sargent just drove their last ever Formula One race.
I don't think Sargent.
No, but do I mean that? Do I mean that Perez? Because he will get a V-carb seat. They won't just kick him out completely. I don't know. Sargent's gone. Sargent's definitely gone.
Give it Ricardo, get Lawson back in V-carb.
Sargent and James Vowles have reportedly fallen out.
According to who? Because I saw something saying that's what No. I saw something. That's what Joseph Newgarden said. Obviously, Indy 500.
He said that.
Yeah, no. Joseph Newgarden has said,
He's been begging for a CNF1 for years.
Logan Sargent and James Vowles have fallen out, but then apparently it's just been rubbished by pretty much everyone.
Why is he getting...
Nah, he will. Some of those IndyCar drivers are very salty that they've never made it, and they always go like, we could beat any of them any day in an F1 car. Like, I don't think so, mate. Yeah.
Oh, do not get into that, because we've got an American. Yeah. There's a couple American on our fan base, and they will be livid if we say this. Driving in circles, actual circles, is different. All right, let's get a grip. Come on.
Well, listen, I watched the IndyCar in Toronto the other week, and I honestly thought to myself, I could not do that. Like, the track was so bumpy. Like, you think Monaco is like,
yeah, like, yeah. So what? Our lot had to deal with that in 2022 with the new regs. Every car was just bouncing.
That's true.
Who cares?
Oh, also, there was this stat I was going to tell you about, but it doesn't actually mean anything now. But I'm going to give you a quiz like I do most weeks. Top 3 finishers on track were separated by 1.173 seconds, which is the closest finish without any safety car intervention, since 2016. But what Grand Prix was that, and why was it 8/10 that the top 3 finished together? You will know. So just think, 2016, 8/10 top 3. Why?
I want to say Baku.
I want to say Spa.
He's not Baku.
No, not Spa. I want to say Spain. Spain.
I can confirm it. He's also not Spain. think, genuinely, 2016,
Yeah.
top 3, 8/10.
Well, it would have
2016.
it would have been behind safety car.
No,
It wasn't
because
behind
that's the
safety
whole
car.
point. It's without safety car intervention.
Oh God.
It's a very well known one because of what the person at the front was purposely doing throughout the race.
Oh, Abu Dhabi then.
There you go. Where Lewis was
Because
basically
Lewis
trying to
back up
stop
Nico
Nico
and
Rosberg by getting, I think it was Vettel in third, or it could have even
wasn't it?
been
I
Max.
thought it was Alonso.
Yeah, Alonso, yeah.
Actually, no, Alonso would have
No,
been in the McLaren,
no,
wouldn't
not
he?
2016. No, it's
No.
not Alonso. It's either
Yeah, no,
Vettel or
it wasn't.
Max. It's one of them.
I think
But
it
yeah.
might have been Vettel, yeah, in the Ferrari.
So,
Or was
and
it?
obviously that's because Lewis is purposely backing up his teammates. So this actually was top three. And actually, on another day, we could be talking about Oscar Piastri winning back-to-back Grand Prix. It wasn't out of the question today.
This is what I'm saying. As I said earlier, I think if you give it 2 more laps, I reckon Oscar would have beaten them both.
Yeah, in my
I think
opinion,
that's-
if Lewis had got past George, Piastri would have also passed George on track
Yeah.
at the end. But with Lewis not able to get past, you're right, Ollie, a few more laps, and if he'd got Lewis, he definitely would have got George. So there you go, you see. I think, though, that I just think that Formula One has just given us everything that we've ever desired. And like we talk about 2021 being amazing, and it was amazing up until the end, right? But it was every weekend it was who was going to win, Lewis or Max. We're now saying who's going to win out of like 7 drivers.
Yeah, don't say 8. Perez don't count. No,
I know.
don't say 8.
No, it is.
And
I mean,
also, a bit cryptically, did you see what Max Verstappen posted on his main feed after the race? Not a story, a main post.
No.
It's a video of him and Daniel Ricciardo in the helicopter smiling away at each other. So I think Danny Rick is driving for Red Bull when we come back.
just break
it
my other hand and break my other knee while you're at it. Oh God.
The thing is, boys, like you weren't on the pod last week, and I said this, right? I can't see it just being like a swap because Lawson's comes into the picture somewhere. Lawson is in the seat.
Yeah, he goes into
Exactly.
the V-car seat.
So if Perez is getting dropped, though, I can't see him like out of the sport.
No,
I feel like they got too much respect for him.
He'll join some random. I don't know who, but it'll be some.
Imagine
random
Perez
team.
goes to Williams for the end of the season. But that's just never been on
okay,
anyone's card.
So we've still got Perez. Where's he going? Sainz. We still ain't got a clue. If Albon's
still
going to
saying
move,
Alpine.
we still don't know.
No, but Bottas is going to Williams. Bottas is definitely going to Williams.
Zhou, we still don't know what he's doing.
Do you reckon?
Don't get me
by the way,
what Stroll is doing in the sports still.
Listen, Zhou, Guan Yu Zhou, I need to apologise to Guan Yu Zhou. I do. I need to apologise.
Your game.
Yeah, listen, I do need to apologise to Guan Yu Zhou because I was totally not aware of this. I've obviously been getting a little bit of stick recently saying when do we start talking about Guan Yu Zhou being a bit washed. Turns out he does not drive the same car as Bottas at all. They drive 2 completely different cars.
Surely that's not good.
Because all the upgrades go to Bottas and they don't have enough money in the team to be duplicating the upgrades that they make. So he literally is driving like a spec, basically, week in, week out.
Can I maybe put something forward here? I don't think. Now, here, just hear me out. I don't think. No. I don't think.
Ben, get ready.
I don't think I'm being crazy here, but I don't think it would be too mental to think that Perez might go back to Sauber. Obviously, he's been there in the past. If there's a seat opening up there, he's been there previously.
Well, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I know it's very, 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 very rogue.
But he's got to be part of the Audi picture. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
I know. Sauber's Audi right now.
But I know that. But he knows the team. Like he's been there before.
It's the same exact team when he was there in 2020.
No. Yeah, I know that.
But there will be some. No, I do see your point. I'm just excited. Silly season will be really good because the thing is, everyone after Lewis made that shock move, it shook up the entire market, right? And after that, it was then very much sort of Sainz is the next piece of the puzzle. But the fact that he's still whether he has or hasn't
What
decided.
is
I mean,
he
James
waiting
Bowles is.
for?
Well, James
What
Bowles
is
is.
he
Well,
waiting for?
I think he's probably. I think it changes every week, and he might think he's got a chance at that Red Bull seat. He might think he's got a chance at that Mercedes seat. You know, because Kimi Antonelli came out the other week, right, and he actually said, "I'm not ready for Formula One yet." He said that.
I don't know about that one. I mean, I want to get onto him in a minute. But...
That's nothing. That's him trying to be humble. That's him trying to be humble. Oh, I don't think I'm
ever
ready.
since his
I don't
win in
think I should take a
Silverstone,
step.
Kimi Antonelli is cooking.
I don't think I should
honestly,
take a
he's
step
on a
up.
different level.
I think I should hold off. Yeah, give it a bin. Give it a rest. Write a couple of zeros on the end of that contract. You'll sit in that F1 seat, won't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Helmut Marko. On the subject of Helmut Marko said there's a meeting on Monday, which, as we're recording, is tomorrow. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the 4-week holiday. I'm pretty sure there is a rule that for like 2 weeks of that 4 weeks, you're not allowed to like touch anything Formula One. Like you're not allowed to go to the factory. You're not allowed to do sims. You're not allowed to do aero. You're not allowed to do wind tunnel. Like you're not allowed to do anything. And then like the 2 weeks after, or a week before, like you can come back or something. So, but regarding transfers, I think that can just happen. I think so. I would not be surprised if we're getting those great big massive F1 graphics appearing of, Daniel Ricciardo has replaced Sergio Perez, or even though I still believe it should be Yuki, but then I still don't actually think Yuki deserves a top seat. Like it's so bizarre. It's so weird. I'm just excited though, and especially as this season's been so good now, that anything can happen. And like I said, Ollie, we can get an 8th winner if someone is better in that second Red Bull seat, because they won't ever probably win on raw pace, but they might get a George Russell Austrian moment.
Do you honestly
they'll be there
think,
to pick up the pieces.
Do you honestly think, though, if Ricciardo does get that Red Bull seat, he actually will be anywhere near the front still? Because I don't think he will.
My thinking, no.
The person I think could be is Liam Lawson.
No, but Will, put it this way, Will. Perez today started P2 and finished P8. If Ricciardo finished P2, he's not finishing any lower than P5.
No, but see, I think he does. I think he does.
I don't think so. I think he
actually Perez finished P7.
Ever since he left Red Bull, I think he knew. Even though at the time it would have felt right because he didn't like the whole this new young driver coming through and they're favouring him. I think basically ever since his first year at Renault, he's probably gone, oh, why did I do that? And he's been gagging to get that opportunity back. And especially now he's seen what Max has grown into, he knew he was wrong all along, because there was a reason why they were prioritising this kid, because look what he's gone on to do. So he will come in with the mindset of, he won't come in the mindset of, oh, right, Max, I'm going to take this fight to you now. He's going to come in, thank God, I finally got my seat back. I'm home. Let me just have fun. Finish 4th, 3rd, and then
do you think
Max and Lando have had a crash. I've won this weekend.
I don't know. I honestly, I
don't see that.
No, I don't see him being an improvement. I think he'd be an improvement on Perez in terms of quality. In terms of race, I still think he finishes roughly in the same place, probably like 7th to 5th.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point, Will. Checo's not finishing like 5th. Let me take a look at Sergio Perez's results in let me tell you Sergio Perez's results in these last few races, right? So he has if it comes up, my favorite page, here we go. Yes. So Sergio Perez obviously started out his season very well, where he was getting podiums and they were like having 1-2s, as we mentioned earlier on. But he has, here we are, Sergio Perez, last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 races since he's been on the podium. 7th, 17th, 7th, 8th, retired, 8th, 4th. So that's what I'm saying, Will. Danny Rick, 5th and 4th, is actually what they need right now. He's not even delivering top 5s. He's not even going on our graphics for predictions. Well, he did for me this weekend. But
I don't see them going... I don't see them Red Bull winning this Constructors. because I think the damage is too far
if we
done.
go back to at the end when we do an inevitable last pod of the year and we look for, I've got McLaren as my constructors winners.
I think no matter, I think my take on it now is the fact of no matter who you get in for the rest of this year, I reckon, say Perez does not return in the Red Bull seat for the rest of the season after the summer break, I think whoever you get in will probably be on a par with results with Perez up until the end of the year. And then once the new year comes, whoever that driver is, if they stay in that seat, that's when the progress will start to be made and the results will start to look good. But if you replace Perez now, whoever you put in there will have the same results as what he's getting. That's my personal view.
I can see why you say that, Ollie, but I don't agree. I do think that someone will come in and I don't think it's a case of you need what you need to understand when you say Red Bull. Naturally, you're thinking someone coming in to win a race. Whoever goes in that second seat will not win a race on qualifying first and winning. That's not going to happen. But they need someone to be picking up fourths and fifths and thirds, and Perez is not doing that. Ricciardo will do that. I actually don't think Yuki would do that, though. That's my only thing. But I think Yuki deserves a seat more than... This is what I'm saying. It's very difficult and complicated.
I agree with Ollie, though. I think that even if Ricciardo comes in, he will still be finishing P7 in that Red Bull, and then next year he'll be getting seconds and thirds. I don't agree.
I don't agree. Like Daniel Ricciardo, for example, he has still got something in it. Like Miami, fourth in the sprint race. I swear he qualified like second or third for the sprint in Miami, right?
I think it was third.
Yeah, like that in a better car. Last 10 races, 4 or 5 of those races being in the top 4, that's enough to keep Red Bull top of the championship, because Max will still, I know he hasn't, a couple fifths and a fourth here, but he will be getting thirds and seconds, and he'll be leeching on McLaren mistakes, Mercedes mistake, Ferrari mistakes. They just need someone. They don't need someone to come in and match Max. They just need someone that's going to supply better. Like, they're not going to get 1-2s, but can they get 1-3s, 1-4s? Like, I've just gone through Perez there. Like, there's a race where he's finished 17th. He finished 17th at Silverstone, and that's not even through. He crashed and he was towards the back or whatever. He finished 17th because he finished 17th.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable. Like, also, by the way, listen to this. Sergio Perez's first 5 races of this year: second, fifth, second, third. Lewis Hamilton's first 5 races this year: 7, 9, retire, 9, 9. Perez's last 5 results, as in going backwards: 7, 7, 17, 7, 8. Lewis Hamilton's last 5: first, third, first, fourth, and third. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, Checo needs to go.
Get him the hell out of here.
Out. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And it's a shame because me and Ollie have said we really wanted him to get in that seat, deserved that seat back when in 2020. But time's up now, son. Anyway, Ferrari. We mentioned a little bit about Ferrari. I do just want to see, Ollie, what your take still is on Charles Leclerc right now, because I feel as though his season is going under the radar. He is still third in the championship, ahead of the likes of Piastri, Hamilton, Sainz, Russell. Technically he didn't get a podium today, but he did get a podium today. And that is his first podium since he won in Monaco. So, positives?
Yeah, there are some positives, but I still don't understand the he's a future world champion hype around him. Like, for me personally, looking in from the outside, I don't think he's got that. I don't think he's got it. If you know what I'm trying to say, he's not got that.
Like that message you put in the chat, Hungary, when he just let Max pass him. Remember that? Whereas Lewis was fighting him like a dog the entire race, and he couldn't get past Lewis. Charles just literally opened the door for Max.
Yeah, no, I don't. Don't get me wrong. He is a fantastic driver. Like, I mean, his accolades in Formula 2. His accolades in Formula 2 speak for themselves. His 1 lap pace, his qualifying is phenomenal, but
Well,
he
yeah, we
just
should.
in a race, I don't think he's just got it. What have you seen, William?
This is the most uncanny thing. Right, Lewis Hamilton has number 44 as a race number. There are 44
it's on
laps
that,
in the
yeah.
race. Oscar's pit stop was 4.4 seconds. Russell broke Article 44. Just written in the stars.
It was document 44.
Oh, document 44, yeah. That is written in the
It was
stars.
always written in the stars this weekend for him to win.
Yep.
105 as well just actually feels like such a good, like, cold number, doesn't it? Like, it sounds better than 103, like 105. Do you agree? Like, it just sounds good. And I mean, but Ferrari, I think we should talk really about Leclerc's qualifying, because it's quite funny how the last 3 years now, Max has taken grid penalties in Belgium, so he's effectively had 3 pole positions taken away from him because he takes
does it
penalties,
every year.
and it's been a Ferrari like Leclerc that's been there to pick up the piece, or Sainz to pick up the pieces. But yeah, that lap came out of nowhere, even though it was still like 6/10 off of Max. It still came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Have you seen, by the way? Sorry, going off. Have you seen what Helmut Marko said about Perez?
Yeah.
Have you not seen it, Olly?
Relay it to me.
He said he is completely collapsed. Perez has completely collapsed in terms of mentally. He's just.
I don't even think that's surprising though. I think you can see, like, the way, I think we've said this a few times, the way you carry yourself in the paddock and the way you carry yourself when driving on track and really showing who you are. I think Perez has just totally lost it. I think his aggressiveness, his passion, his drive, I think that's just all gone. Whereas you look at other drivers on the grid now, their cars are starting to get faster. I mean, you look at Piastri, Norris, and you look at Piastri, Lewis, and George. The way they're carrying themselves now is like, okay,
Yeah.
we're here to fight.
I agree.
We're not here just to take second. We're here to fight.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like
Perez just doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it. Like, it's been 9 races since he beat Ollie Behrman's result in Saudi Arabia, and that was 7th place. Like, you know, unbelievable. And listen, don't get me wrong, having 7 top race winners this year, you know, there are now 13 race winners on the grid. That's, I think I saw something like that's the most that's been on the grid, like, for years, right?
Yeah, since like the days of having.
Yeah, we're going to be going way back. We're going to be going way back, right?
2012.
Yeah. No. So that was 8 race winners in a season, but we've got 13 on the grid. Like, obviously, we've got Ocon,
think about that
Gasly.
2012 grid. Think about that 2012 grid. Who was on that grid?
Yeah, well, to be fair, yeah, but I reckon it would have been like 9 or 10.
Possibly, yeah.
But either way, just finally on Perez before we move on, right? I just think that the fact that a new 2-year deal hasn't even cut it for him was like, he got to go.
Yeah,
he does. I'm so sorry. And if these performance clauses are true, then there's nothing you can do about it either. And I said this weekend, a top 5 Q3 appearance and a podium would have kept it. And he went and gone and put it on the front row with an unbelievable lap on used Inters. And he's just totally just washed away his race.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, to start on the front row and then finish 20 odd seconds behind the leaders.
Well, he finished 43 behind, but that was because he pitted to put softs on to get fastest lap. But you are right; it would have been like 20 seconds behind on net time. So I agree with you, mate. Honestly, just
crazy.
Quite sad.
Did he get the fastest lap?
I do feel for him. He did get fastest lap.
Oh, okay. Could you imagine if he didn't even get the fastest lap?
No, I know. But listen, that's so. Look, we've gone through sort of Red Bull. I mean, Max Verstappen is. I'm sorry, but it is actually great to see him not winning. Like, it just is.
I just read a thing as well. He got asked about like
sim racing.
No, not the sim racing. About like he reflected on his P4 today, and he said the days of us going from P11 to winning a race comfortably are far, far behind us now. Those days won't return.
How good is that? Like,
Yeah,
when
it's
I saw that he
crazy.
was up to P8 because Matt Gallagher did a tweet like, Verstappen's already P11 to P8 in 3 laps. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's nothing. This time last year, he was already up to like P4. Like,
Yeah, and then
he's
also
going to
think about
sit
who's got-
behind.
Yeah,
He's not going to just overtake Norris. Like, that's not going to happen. And it's going to be through the pits and through the strategy, which it was. Which, to be fair, again, Lando Norris and starts really bad. Going into the gravel, understeering into the gravel, and he lost 3 places on the start. Yeah, not good. Not good.
I'm not looking so much
but
like a mug now, am I?
really, is there actually anything else? Because the race itself was good because you didn't know who would win it, but they've shortened the DRS line, so there wasn't actually that many overtakes on track. No weather showed up in the end on the day. Oh yes, that's what I was going to say. First time since 2009, 2010. I know Formula One's calendar year, but in terms of it would have been the end of 2009 into the start of 2010, that 6 races in a row where the pole sitter has not won the race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 6 races in a row.
Blame
That
all
whoever
them on
started on pole
Norris.
hasn't won.
Yeah, that's
But
just
it
crazy.
does include Max as well, though.
Yeah, well, it's because
But
they've
no, I
fallen
don't.
off, haven't they?
I think it was
Also,
a brilliant.
Lance Stroll's a pleb. There you go. End it there.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic race. Like, to watch it was just like, I didn't know who was going to win the whole way through.
I'm gutted I missed it, but at the same time, like we said, the outcome seemed fair. From what I saw from the highlights and stuff like that, like I said, those first 8 laps, like not even that, 5 laps from Lewis were crazy. Like, you could tell from the start, his reaction time, not even off the... But his reaction time was off the start is just incredible. Like, he was so dialed in.
Oh, I know. I thought he was going to...
Jesus! That reaction there. The noise you made there. No, the noise you made there was crazy.
I was just going to say that I honestly thought he was going to overtake George on the last lap on lap 44, and I thought, yeah, but he didn't. Well, we know why in the end, because George had a lighter car. Also, Fernando Alonso finished P8 today. You know he turns 43 tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, boys, do you think the reason why Russell was able to go so long on those tyres because of the less weight that would have been grain in them? Possibly.
I don't know. No. All the drivers were saying that no tyres just weren't dying, but they were just pitting because they knew like a 2-stop was what they had to do. Lewis said he could have done it. Oscar said he could have done it. No one said, "Oh, George, how have you done that?"
Scared.
I couldn't.
But it was a dice roll that they were scared to do,
and it was a dice roll that worked. But maybe
but they were scared whether it wasn't going to. Yeah. It's weird.
By the way, James Allison, since he's been back, I am so sure if we dug up the archives, I've said in one of the episodes somewhere when he was coming back, I said Mercedes were going to cook. I swear I've said this.
I think we all said it in
back. They cooked.
I think we all said it in the first episode of this season. I think we all said James Allison's back, Mercedes are going to fly. And then obviously the first 6 or 7 race weekends, we were like, okay, yeah, this is a bit. But now it's finished. I was thinking about this. Like, if you think back to 7 episodes ago, we would have been sitting here going, "Oh, Max has won again. It's just a bit boring now, isn't it?" Like, I think we're all kind of getting to a point with the pod where it's kind of like, we're just doing the same thing every week. Like, it's a bit boring. And now since all the past few race weekends, it's been like, we don't know who's going to win. We come into this podcast and we're like, we don't know what we're going to do.
But like, if you look at Max's 7 wins, and even now, like Imola probably shouldn't have. He had an unbelievable weekend, but Norris should have won in Imola. I think about
the first 3 were just pure him, though.
Yeah, the first 3 that he won, he would have probably won Australia as well if he didn't DNF. What other race that I don't think Canada. I don't think he should have won Canada either. That already takes him down to 5. You know, so there are.
And isn't it a recurring theme of the driver that should have won all those races being Lando Norris, but he didn't?
Nah, Russell Canada, I think.
Was it Russell Canada?
Russell,
yeah. Russell
Yeah.
Canada. But either way, like this
Just,
season is just so wide open now. It does feel weird to be like, oh, we're at the halfway point in terms. Well,
It is.
not halfway point, but we're at
You
the
say
break,
it's
and
wide
yet we've
open.
done 4 more races than we will do in the second half. But the second half's always like the better half because you've got like Monza, you've got Singapore, you've got Brazil, Sao Paulo. You've got Kota, which this year is hosting a sprint race. Like Mexico, like they're all pretty good. Nah, Mexico's a good Grand Prix.
No, that's what I mean. I like Mexico. I like
No,
Mexico.
not
to buy a seat. I'd love to buy a seat in that great big massive grandstand as the drivers come through.
Well, that's a baseball stadium, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they convert it for race weekends.
I
Did you
didn't
not
know
know that?
I did not know
stadium.
that.
It's a baseball stadium. Yeah.
Oh wow, that makes sense then.
So yeah, they convert
But
it.
like the only bad one is Abu Dhabi. That is the only bad one, and it's just funny. It's the last one.
They've tried to change the track layout to
Vegas!
make it just not.
Oh
Vegas.
yeah, we got Vegas.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got Vegas. Baku's in the second half this year. Baku, what
my
a gaff
God.
Baku is.
But then we've also got Qatar as well.
Just said what a gaff Baku is.
What
my
place?
God. What a gaff.
I love it on the F1 game. I did Baku on the F1 game the other day, right? And it started sunny, went enters, finished sunny. I had a race of my life for Parker Motorsports.
But no, I think
something I do want to talk about. Have you seen the the F1 film they're doing, the Apex shit, the Apex stuff?
Yeah. In the crowd.
The stuff on Twitter. The crowd. And the stuff they are posting on Twitter as well is so cringe. He's so cringe.
No, but and
I see it. It's just
funny though. It will be edited. This film, there's 2 completely different things. This film will be better than Drive to Survive in terms of viewership of Formula 1. But it will just be funny looking at like a series where it's like, oh my God, how's this guy maybe finished, I don't know, last and won the next weekend or something.
For me, it has to either there's 2 main films it has to compete with. And that's or is there 3? I think there's a third one. Yeah, so there's Rush and Le Mans 66. They're the 2 films I'd say it has to complete. Mainly Rush.
Ferrari was really good. I watched recently in the cinema. I went and watched it about Enzo Ferrari. That was unbelievable as well. If you haven't watched it, have you boys watched that?
No, I haven't. That's not like more racing related. That's more. No, that's more. But it's not even like focused racing related. It's more away from it. So I think it has to deal with. It has to be up there with Rush and mainly Rush, and Le Mans 66. But I don't know how, because I feel like it's going to be very cheesy, and I'm not looking forward to it. I am and I ain't. I ain't got high hopes.
Well, I am looking forward to it. Yeah, I think
before
boys. Yeah, I was going to say.
We get on to predictions, unless you've got anything else to say about the race. I'll get on to the FIFA series. I just
wanted to ask you, by the next time we record, are we going to be talking about a new driver, a new team, or something?
Move your mic, Ben. Your mic's so quiet. Hardly.
Oh no, sorry. I just said by the next time we have an episode, will we be saying, "Oh, and so got on well in their debut for this team today"? You do.
I think Perez will be gone, but I don't know who's going to be in that seat.
I'm going to say.
What about Logan Sargent?
I think Logan's going to stay till the end of the year.
I think Logan says. I'm going to say yes, we will be, but we'll be saying not the debut they would have wanted. I don't see any change. I honestly think whoever comes in does the exact same thing, and then, like Olly said, it's them when it kicks on next year. But I don't see any.
What is the silliest thing we're going to hear this summer?
What do you mean?
Like silly season. What's the silliest thing we're going to hear? Who's going to fall off a bike? Like who's in missed the first race back, or who's gonna get arrested in like abroad, or like, do you know what I mean? Silly season. Like what's going to happen? Alpine have already announced that they want to drop their Renault engine and go to a Mercedes engine. That's caused up a lot of fuss.
That's a
By the way, Mercedes reliability. I saw again. Autosport, give Autosport a follow. They put up some seriously good graphics.
Do not jinx this. Do not jinx it, Ben.
Okay.
If Merc are back, do not jinx this. All right, hold.
No, I see what you're saying.
Hold fire.
Where did I see it? Yeah, I'm going to send it to you now on trackside, right? Because it shows all the power unit elements used so far in this year. Look at every Mercedes. I've just sent it. Look at every Mercedes manufactured car and how good their reliability is. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Of course, Lance, the only one of actually no, don't worry. I didn't see the McLaren. I was going to say, of course, Lance is the only Mercedes engine driver that has problems, but then I forgot about McLaren. So
McLaren run Merc engines.
Yuki Tsunoda did all right this weekend, finishing P16 after starting P78.
Yeah, that's true.
Decent.
Ollie, you didn't hear what I said at all.
No, I didn't.
I was going to say that is the most.
Saying that though,
I literally just said. I said Yuki Tsunoda just finished P16, which is good considering he started P78. And you've just gone, yeah, good actually. That is the number one sign of a man drifting away.
No, I've totally gone. But
right, predictions then.
What about feeder series?
Yeah, but predictions is still about Formula One, though.
Oh, okay, go on
then. But to be fair, if we don't
know
have to
your
talk
place,
Ben, I've got such a good stat for you. You're going to love it.
What about F2?
I've got a stat.
Oh, he's got a
What
stat.
about feeder series?
About feeder series.
All right, go on then. You go first.
Okay,
Ben's
right. So Formula 3, I want to talk about first.
Right, time's up. No, I'm joking.
There you go. There's your allocation. Hold that.
Feeder series. I mean, this weekend the weather was it caused absolute chaos, especially on the Saturday. I mean, the Formula 2 sprint race didn't even get running. They had to do it in the afternoon. And it just produced a brilliant 45 minutes of delusional commentary from
Alex Lewis
and Alex Brundle. And they're both, I don't know if you've seen any of the clips from what they were talking about, but they were just going off about the most random thing. Well, it was kind of like watching the night highlights of the Le Mans commentators. That was what the 45 minutes of Alex Jakes and Alex Brundle was like. And then the sprint race did get underway.
Then the
sprint race did get underway, and the winner was I can't even. Who was? Zach O'Sullivan, because they didn't get underway.
You don't even know
they didn't get underway. They didn't get underway properly. No, but that's the thing. It's just this one stat has just been going through my head. I can't think of anything else. So Zach O'Sullivan got his second win of the season after his other win coming in Monaco. Obviously, it was only in the sprint race, and they didn't complete the full race because of the weather. So very unfortunate for him. And then Isaac Hadjar won the feature race earlier on today, further cementing himself as a serious title contender, obviously extending his lead out in front. Unfortunately, Paul Aron had to retire about two laps from the end in the feature race, meaning he's dropped from second in the championship to third, Gabriel Bortoleto taking that silver medal spot in the championship. But my stat of the weekend, which I heard, and this is phenomenal, and it shows how good of a series this is. This is how good of a series this is, Formula 2. Out of the 22 drivers in the series, only 3 of them haven't been on the podium this year.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's
unbelievable.
That is Ritomo, I think it's Ritomo Miata, Villa Gomez, and I believe it's Amaury Cordial. The only drivers not to stand on a Formula 2 podium this year.
How many winners are
How mental is that?
How many winners are there? How many? I'll tell you what, actually, homework. For next video, Ollie, find out how many different race winners are on the F2 grid from this year.
Cool.
That's your homework.
I'll get that remembered. But yeah, I just thought I heard that and I was like, I need to remember that for Ben because he will
that's an unbelievable.
absolutely love.
I am feeling a certain type of way right now after hearing that stat. That's unbelievable. That's a very good stat.
I just thought that's ridiculous. 19. So that's like what? That's I don't know the maths in percentage wise, but it's got to be like over 90% of the drivers have got.
Yeah, that is sick. To be fair,
got on a podium this
crazy.
season.
I did watch the highlights of that, and it looked very insane.
And Antonelli's overtake up through Eau Rouge.
Oh my god! I mean, initially he banged wheels of Colapinto going down to Eau Rouge, then going up into Radion, just foot to the floor, kept it in there, and this boy. I mean, I said this in the last episode. I said at the start of the year he's not really showing his qualities. He's not really looking that good. And then Silverstone comes, and he is just completely changed. I mean, he said it in interviews.
The weight is just like released from his shoulders.
He said that himself. He said that people expected me to come in this series and just wipe the floor with everyone, and that pressure was really hard for him. And he said to get that win is like a weight off my shoulders. And then I mean,
Olly, what point do we get to now? What point do we get to in the F2 calendar where then they end up having to like wait 3 months for a race? Do they have Monza and then they got to wait for Abu Dhabi or?
I think so. No, Zandvoort they have.
Zandvoort.
So I don't think it's as bad this year, but I do think it is still quite long. So I think
it's like a month.
So we've got obviously Spa was now, but then we go to Monza. Oh no, we don't go to Zandvoort this year. Oh, it was on Zandvoort was on it last year, but we're not going there this year. But we've got Monza, then Baku, then that's when the break is. It goes from 13th to the 15th of September for the Baku race weekend, to the 29th of November to the 1st of December for the Qatar weekend. So 2 months. But the Formula 3 calendar ends in the next series, and Prema have once again become the constructor champions of that series. And just to quickly speak on that series, in the feature race today, there was 15 laps in the Formula 3 feature race. And I sent this message to the chat this morning. In 11 laps, there were 4 different safety cars. Like, I'm not even joking. A safety car would come in, a few corners later, it would be called back out because drivers would have collided. And unfortunately, one of those drivers was Avrid Lindbrad, who I was hyping up so highly a few weeks ago. But he's driving.
The guy that won, though, it was the first time his team have won an F3 race in 10 years.
What, the feature race today?
Yeah.
One of the races.
The sprint race. Sprint race.
Like a black and gold car.
It was, what's his name? He's a British driver. Callum.
Yeah, because they say, get in there, Lewis. I mean, Callum.
Yeah. Right, hold on. Callum, it starts with a V. Oh, I can't remember. This is awful. Right, hold on. Just let me find it. Let me find it.
Who are you?
Callum Voisin.
There we go. There it is.
It was, so he won today. He won the feature race today, and then Dino Boganovic, who's a Prema driver, won yesterday in the sprint race. But yeah, Callum Voisin, young British driver. So again, we've got a few British drivers in the ranks. So you never know. For the next few years, Smith. The next few years we could be sorted for. Next few years we could be sorted for young British drivers. So
to be fair, it's too late.
Series wrapped up for another. That's too late. Series wrapped up for another.
Thing is, nowadays you have to start.
Weekend.
You have to start single seater rating at the single seater racing
like
now.
5-6.
5-6. You have to be kind of 5-6.
Yeah.
It's too late for me.
Yeah.
I'm cooked.
Yeah.
I'm cooked.
All right.
Predictions. Whoa! Driver of the day.
What? Yeah, you don't do that until after predictions.
Yeah, we'll do that we do that at the end, Will.
See, I've been gone so
long.
long.
I'll deduct you a point if you want. I'll deduct you some points if you want.
We do it just before we go because we always forget, and then just as we're leaving, we all go, "Oh God, right, okay, driver of the weekend."
No, we do it
so
randomly.
Prediction.
Mention the person. Whenever we just mention the person randomly, we just say it.
Will, how about I do predictions? And you shush. Actually, I don't even want to do them this week. And you weren't here last week either, which was good. But yeah, so I don't know what's happened since Austria. We seem to be doing, all three of us seem to be doing a Charles Leclerc since Monaco, and we've just dropped off. In fact, okay, I can't really say that because Austria was a sprint weekend, so that was why. But I was going to say we haven't scored in 3 rounds. We've scored less than we all scored in Austria, but that was a sprint weekend, so probably would be expected. Right, so qualifying. I didn't score a point again in qualifying. It's so hard to predict qualifying. But
this
Ollie
is what it makes a prediction so much better. Makes a prediction so much
Ollie
better
and
how
Will both did.
competitive it is.
With Verstappen on top. Now, we did have this conversation before. It was about qualifying results, not about starting grid. So even though Verstappen was 11th, he was the fastest in qualifying, and you had him to be the fastest in qualifying, so you both get a point. I'm gutted because the original race result meant I had 2 points with Leclerc in 4th and Hamilton in 2nd. But with it changing, I only take 1 point out of the race with Norris in 5th. Ollie also had Norris in 5th.
I would have had Leclerc and Verstappen.
No, you would not have.
Would I not?
You have left with the exact same points you would have been leaving with either way. The only difference is you've got Piastri in 2 rather than, I think it was Leclerc in 4. No, Verstappen in 5. So I leave with 1 point, you both leave with 2. So in 3rd place in the Predictions League with 41 points is Ollie. In 2nd with 52 is myself. And 54 with a 2-point lead is Will. Anyway, driver of the day.
Ooh. Wow.
And on the topic of Predictions League, are we discussing our new rule change? We need, it's like the Premier League. 14 clubs need to agree. 2 of the 3 here need to agree. Does the Predictions League get a revamp for the fact that there was no predicting in Bahrain? Is there a double or nothing week that you can go for, but can't be a sprint weekend? And a double points is still only 10. So if you get all 5, it's still 10. But if you get 4, you get 8, etc.
Yep, no, I'm in. But it has to be done before a practice session. So we can't do it just before qualifying. It has to be before practice sessions.
I like that. But also, answer me this. Is it for the weekend or for a session? Can you only get it for qualifying or do you get it for a race weekend?
Weekend, because we missed the whole Bahrain weekend,
cool.
so it will be another weekend on top.
I'm just putting it out here now, especially for Will, who will make the rules up as he goes along. If you get 5 points, it's still 10. It's not 20.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll tell you what, actually,
is 8, 3 is 6, 2 is 4, and 1 is 2.
If you get all 5 and you get 10, you should actually get 15.
No.
Because if you're doing double points everything else, you should be like, okay,
washed mentality.
No. I think we stick to if you get 5, you get 10.
Yeah.
But then if you get 4, you get. If you get 4, you get 8, and then.
Yeah, and I repeat, you can't do this on a sprint weekend.
Wait, if we have a situation like we had in 2021 where that Belgian Grand Prix got only half, do we have half prediction points as well? Is that what we're going to have? We got half prediction points.
If this Predictions League finished in, if there was a draw for first, I think we'd have to go back go-karting or something. It's do 1 lap pace or something. Equivalent of rock, paper, scissors, but in go-karts. Huh?
What? So yeah, you come last
up there. Sorry, mate. You seems to be glitching. I can't quite hear what you're saying. Right, driver of the day. I don't know if I can still give this to him, but I am going to give it to George Russell.
I think you can.
I think I'd have to agree.
It wasn't his fault. It was the team.
And he drove phenomenally.
I guess
he did drive phenomenally.
A close second. Is it Hamilton or Piastri?
Ooh.
Is it Hamilton or Piastri? I'll tell you what, actually. We'll all go George Russell, but then disqualified. We all get disqualified. We've got to pick then Hamilton or Piastri.
Well, boys, I would just like to say that it's been a privilege doing this episode, but at the end of the day, Lewis Hamilton is a Formula One race winner once again.
Jesus, he backs out the sunglasses every time.
105 for LH44. We are so back.
105
Thank you very
dubs,
much.
201 podiums. Team LH44 hashtag. Still
We
you
never
guys.
stopped believing.
Yeah.
We never stopped believing.
We have finally got our sport back.
We are
So true.
so
Preach.
But I don't think we will now be doing another episode unless I think if any major news happens, then we'll have to do a breaking news episode.
Yeah, or we just stick to like TikToks, just hash out TikTok. Here's a goal. Let's set ourselves a goal. We've got 17,500 likes. By the time we do our next podcast, let's try and have 20k likes.
right. I'll get
Sorted.
on it. I'll get on
Yeah,
it.
he will.
I will. Oh, actually, what's the Instagram one on now? Because I genuinely could not believe how
You can't work lights out on it. Oh, the things, yeah.
But yeah, thanks to Ben. I know you enjoyed listening to this last time. Do you want me to get up our viewers from our latest episodes?
Oh, yes, please.
You enjoyed hearing this last time, so I feel like it's only right to.
Well, I always track the Spotify one, but I never track YouTube.
I feel like it's time to put a smile on your face once again because I did.
Well,
have
Will wasn't here. Will didn't hear last week.
I did have a cheeky look the other day, and Will, I said after one of our episodes, I said, "Oh, thanks for listening, even though we know you're not."
Yeah.
Since that episode aired,
I
think I said that after Austria.
Yeah.
In the Austrian episode, and in that episode we got 19 views, which is okay. It's all right. It's better
than 0. Yeah,
it's better than what we've been doing previously. We're slowly making progress because Silverstone got 24.
Ooh.
And then our last one, the Hungarian Grand Prix episode, got 32.
Oh!
We are slowly but surely.
I tell you what,
we're so massive. We're actually so massive.
Either we're so massive, or there is a hit out on our name, and they're trying to find out everything they can about us week in, week out.
It's literally just me bashing Lando Norris has caused an uprising. But hey, if it works, it works.
Whoa! Pause.
Hey.
I think that's probably the best place to leave it. To be honest,
I was blazing a 16-yeeur-old earlier. I'm not having it now. All right, I'm not having that now.
Pause.
Right.
Kimi Antonelli 17, I swear.
Yeah, but all right. So before we get ourselves in trouble, that's probably the best place to leave this episode. So to all you listening and watching on YouTube and potentially Spotify, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll be back for another episode after the Monza race weekend. Zandvoort weekend, not Monza, my bad. But yeah, thank you for listening / watching, and we will catch you again in our next episode.
Thank you. Bye-bye.